Boom, ever onward tribe. I was thinking about our basic training command recently. I was back in San Diego and I got to go for a run on the beach and I saw our compound, I saw our obstacle course. And the obstacle course is sort of one of our famous and hideous ways of separating those that want to be there and those that don't. Obstacle courses are plentiful in the United States military. And there's famous obstacle courses. I went to Ranger School when I was early in my career, and they have an obstacle course that covers miles of ground. Now, the obstacles are separated by hundreds of yards, if not more. You work an obstacle and then you're running. So it covers a tremendous amount of terrain. Ours, I think, the SEAL training one is unique in the sense that it is no bigger than, if you kind of squashed a football field into a square, it's about like that. There's not that many obstacles. I mean, I could count them. Let's call it 20 obstacles. It's maybe less than that. But the reason it's so hideous is actually how tight it is. You go from obstacle to obstacle to obstacle. All of them start working on your grip strength and your upper body and your cardio when you're going max effort. Because every time you do that obstacle course throughout training, the time standard, the amount of time you have to finish it, it gets slower. It gets reduced every time. And the fastest people on the obstacle course get to go through first. We actually start in the fastest person in the class to the slowest person in the class. So you want to be up in the front because you don't have a lot of people in front of you to negotiate and kind of get through and get those good times. For a big gorilla, I was pretty fast on the obstacle course. So I was probably in the top 5 or 6 guys. Everybody in front of me was a gymnast or just a little wrestler that could move, and there's no way I was going to keep up with them and their ability to climb and scale those obstacles. But one of the obstacles on the course we call the Slide for Life. So it's a set of platforms. It's all in the sand, but you run up to the first platform. You kind of do a muscle up. You kind of jump your belly up on top of it, flop up on the next stand, and then there's multiple stands to get to the top. So you got to do kind of muscle ups or swing overs to scale up this. They don't give you a lot of help to do it. And then when you get to the top, you're probably 60 feet up off the sand floor, and there are 2 ropes that come down at a diagonal, probably 40 yards-ish, all the way down to where a pole attaches those lines, and you have to scale those lines, get down that pole, touch it, then you drop off, and you've completed that obstacle. Now, again, when you step off that top spot, like that leap of faith, the very first time you do it, you're actually underneath it. So you're kind of like monkey crawling underneath it with your legs on the rope and kind of shimmying down. By the time you get to a more advanced part of the course, you're on top of it doing this commando crawl down. So you're much faster and it's much more dynamic. But the first phase, when you're underneath it, your arms are already smoked. Your forearms are just on fire. And enough people get on that and are so smoked that they fall off. And they fall off. I mean, it happens enough that there's a nickname for it, which is called a sand dart. So it's somebody that falls off and darts into the ground. Look, this has caused more than a few mechanical injuries, broken legs, bones, hips, shoulders. It's put plenty of people out of training. And I think it'd be easy to look at that maybe from the outside looking in, that what would be the value of injuring somebody in training? And we don't look at things that way. We want you to get out on a difficult spot, hanging out over the edge and being comfortable with that discomfort so you can do that job well when it counts on the battlefield. I negotiated that for many years when I ran training, that it was just as it was. And several years ago, when I was driving back past the compound, I couldn't believe what I saw, but they had placed a safety net at the very bottom level of the Slide for Life. So if somebody fell off it, they'd fall into that safety net. And I'm sure some leader, and I don't want to say whether it's SEAL or not, or some advisor, somebody told them, hey, we're losing 5, 6, 8, 12 candidates a year to this. The value's not there. Let's put that safety net in and it'll save that. And somebody thought it was a good idea. It absolutely ripped my guts out. It just made me think, look, when you're on the battlefield, there's no safety net. When you're out in harm's way, there's no safety net. And our lives, we play much of it without a safety net. So you can practice with a safety net, knowing that something's going to be there to soften your fall and take care of you, so there's no risk in what you're doing. Or you can play without it and prepare for when things get tough, that you've made the decision and the ability to say, I'm willing to risk, I'm willing to step out into that abyss and fight to the end of this obstacle to get to where I want to be. I think they have since removed the safety net, so it's back to the way it was meant to be. But trust me, in life, play without a safety net. Ever onward.